Hi, my name is Shayna Fisk and my speech is on raising the minimum wage. There is not one state in which a person working full-time for minimum wage can afford a two-bedroom apartment. Liam Marler. Raising the minimum wage would help millions of American families have a better life. We all know someone who works for minimum wage. We have all seen them struggle and how hard it is for them to help make ends meet. Some people have to work two jobs just so they don't have to choose which bill doesn't get paid and which activities and how much fun they can have. I have seen how hard families have to work, how hard they have to work, and how much time it goes into raising a family on minimum wage. It takes a lot out of all the family members. An increase would reduce the need for social services, it would increase job growth, and the extra money would go right back into our economy. We need a raise in the minimum wage. Thousands of family members rely on social services to support them. The unemployment rate hasn't decreased in years, and an increase would help spur job growth, which would help with the growing unemployment rate. The money would also go back into our economy because more people would have the means to pay for more services that they couldn't previously afford. So social services like Medicaid and cash assistance programs, there would be a reduced need for them. The Pennsylvania Governor Tom Wolf said the move would lift 100,000 people out of these programs and save Pennsylvania state $50 million annually. And it would also lessen the amount of money spent on helping American families. Putting the money that is saved from the families that don't need to rely on the government anymore, it would help create a fund for a rainy day in case our economy crashes again. One of the lists on here shows how much a household has to make in order to qualify for these programs. And just for one person to qualify for a cash assistance and minimum wage and Medicaid is $1,385. That's not a lot of money. Job growth. America is a consumer economy, and right now there are not enough consumers to help support these companies and their employees, which are causing them to have cutbacks and lowering the amount of employees they have. Allison Miles said, a jump to $9.50 an hour would mean 100,000 new jobs through a 3-year period. And the money so it would increase job growth because there would be more people out there buying these more services that they couldn't afford, which would increase demand, and you need more workers to help meet these demands that the consumers are demanding. The bar graph here shows what the minimum in 2012 what the U.S. in rural areas what the unemployment rate was, or the job growth. It was the poverty, and in 2012 it was 17.7%. And in 2013, it jumped down to 16.1% just because of a little bit of an increase. And if we raise it a couple dollars, we'll see even more decrease in poverty levels. So how the money will go back into our economy, it's like a domino effect. You have more people out there who are able to buy these services that they couldn't afford, which means that money will go right back into the economy, which can be put out again to another family who's in trouble. You start one thing and it just keeps going. Allison Miles said a raise would bring a 25 billion in economy. A raise would mean an additional $25 billion in economy activity. John Schlumback said an increase would give more purchasing power to the millions of poor and middle-class Americans. This would stimulate buying, production, and hiring. According to Laura Garcia, a healthcare worker working for minimum wage, a raise could benefit low-wage workers and boost our economy. Laura Garcia was a healthcare worker who works for minimum wage, which debunks the myth that most minimum wage workers are just teenagers and fast food workers working to get a little bit of extra cash. According to Allison Miles, a writer for Victoria Advocate, a raise would help meet our rising prices as wages have been stagnant. And this graph here shows that in the 1960s, that was the highest point of minimum wage. It was equal to about $8.75 in today's money. If the rate would have continued as time went along, right now the minimum wage in 2016 would have been $18.85, but it didn't, and it decreased, which increased our poverty rates. According to Maddie Quinn, a writer for governing.com, a raise could save money on social services. To conclude, raising the minimum wage would help so many people have a better life. A raise would help American families support themselves and lower the need for social services, boost our economy, and right now most teenagers are working to gather funds. Right now most of these teenagers who are working for minimum wage are working to gather funds for college so they can further their education. A raise would mean less student debt for these students and would help in future generations as they continue to grow and get knowledge.